Imagine a world where the veil between what we perceive as reality and something far more ethereal, far more unsettling, is thinner than you could ever comprehend. A world where even the most grounded, the most beloved figures among us have glimpsed beyond that veil. Tonight, we delve into a chilling account from an unexpected source, a story that will redefine your understanding of the paranormal and perhaps your own sense of security in the quiet hours of the night. This isn't a movie script, it's a real-life encounter, recounted by none other than Keanu Reeves himself. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the unseen, because once you hear this, you might just find yourself checking over your shoulder a little more often. In the annals of the unexplained, certain stories stand out not just for their inherent mystery, but for the credibility of their witnesses. We've all heard tales of spectral figures, disembodied voices, and objects moving on their own accord. But what happens when these chilling phenomena are experienced by someone whose very presence commands attention? Someone who has captivated millions with their on-screen portrayals of heroes and rebels. Tonight, we peel back the layers of fame and fortune to reveal a deeply personal, profoundly unsettling encounter that transcends the silver screen and plunges us into the heart of the supernatural. This isn't a carefully constructed narrative from a Hollywood studio. This is a raw, unfiltered memory from the childhood of Keanu Reeves, a man known for his calm demeanor and philosophical outlook. Yet, even he was not immune to the inexplicable. As the world outside settles into the quiet hum of the night, we invite you to dim the lights, perhaps even pull a blanket a little tighter, and prepare to confront a reality far stranger than fiction. Because once you step into the world of Keanu's first ghost, the shadows in your own room might just seem a little deeper, and the silence a little more profound. This isn't just a story. It's an invitation to ponder the unseen forces that may very well coexist with us, just beyond the reach of our everyday senses. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be looking at every doorway, every empty space with a newfound, chilling awareness. Our story begins not on a Hollywood set, but in the unassuming confines of a New York City apartment, sometime in the late 1960s or early 70s. A young Keanu, no older than 6 or 7, had just arrived with his family from Australia, settling into a new home, a new city, a new life. It was a time of innocence, of discovery, of the boundless imagination that only childhood can truly hold. He was with his nanny, Renata, a figure of comfort and familiarity in this new environment. The evening was likely quiet, perhaps the gentle hum of city life outside, or the soft sounds of a child winding down for the night. A typical scene, you might think. But as we often find in the annals of the unexplained, it's in these moments of mundane normalcy that the truly extraordinary, and often terrifying, can manifest. The stage was set, not for a playful childhood memory, but for an encounter that would etch itself into the very fabric of Keanu Reeves's consciousness, a memory he would carry and eventually share decades later. To truly appreciate the gravity of what transpired, we must first set the scene with meticulous detail. The year was approximately 1971 or 1972. Keanu, a young boy of 6 or 7, had recently relocated with his family from the sun-drenched landscapes of Australia to the bustling, concrete jungle of New York City. Imagine the sensory overload for a child. The cacophony of traffic, the towering skyscrapers, the sheer density of humanity. It was a stark contrast to the more open, perhaps less imposing environment he had known. This transition itself could be seen as a subtle precursor to the unsettling experience that awaited him. A new home, a new apartment, a space yet to be imbued with personal history, a blank canvas upon which the extraordinary could be painted. The apartment itself, likely a typical New York dwelling, with its own quirks and unseen histories, became the stage for this inexplicable event. Keanu was not alone. By his side was Renata, his nanny, a figure of stability and care. Nannies, in many cultures, are more than just caregivers. They are often confidants, storytellers, and sometimes the first witnesses to a child's nascent understanding of the world. Her presence is crucial, for it lends an undeniable weight to Keanu's account. This wasn't a solitary hallucination, a child's overactive imagination running wild in the dark. This was a shared experience, a moment of collective bewilderment that would bind them in a silent, unspoken understanding. The evening itself was likely unremarkable, a typical night winding down. Perhaps the sounds of the city filtered in through closed windows, muffled and distant. The air might have been still, the light subdued, casting long, dancing shadows that played tricks on the eyes. It is in these moments of quiet domesticity, when our guards are down, when the rhythm of daily life lulls us into a false sense of security, that the truly anomalous often chooses to reveal itself. The mundane becomes the canvas for the miraculous, or in this case, the terrifying. The stage was not set with dramatic thunderclaps or flickering lights, but with the subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the atmosphere that precedes an encounter with the truly unknown. It was a night like any other, until it wasn't. And that, perhaps, is the most chilling aspect of all. The sudden, uninvited intrusion of the inexplicable into the comforting routine of everyday life. It forces us to confront the fragility of our perceived reality, to acknowledge that there are forces at play, energies that exist, which operate outside the boundaries of our scientific understanding. And once you acknowledge that, once you open that door, even just a crack, you can never truly close it again. The world, and your place within it, is forever altered. This wasn't just a ghost story. It was an awakening, a moment that would forever color Keanu Reeves' perception of the world, and perhaps his understanding of the very nature of existence itself. It's a testament to the fact that even the most grounded individuals can be touched by the ethereal, leaving them with questions that linger long after the apparition has faded into the shadows. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other quiet, unassuming moments in your own life might hold the potential for such profound, unsettling revelations? What unseen eyes might be watching, just beyond the periphery of your vision, waiting for the perfect, unsuspecting moment to reveal themselves? The thought alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine, isn't it? And then, the air shifted. Not a dramatic drop in temperature, not a sudden gust of wind, but a subtle, almost imperceptible change in the very density of the atmosphere. It was as if the room itself held its breath, anticipating something. Keanu and Renata, their attention drawn by some unspoken cue, found their gaze fixed on the doorway. A simple archway, perhaps leading to a pantry or a small hallway, now seemed to shimmer with an unseen energy. And then it began. Slowly, deliberately, a jacket emerged. Not a person wearing a jacket, not a jacket falling from a hook, but a jacket on its own, gliding through the threshold. It was a man's jacket, perhaps a tweed or a heavy wool, the kind that would normally hang with a certain weight. But this one defied gravity, moving with an eerie, almost graceful undulation. The sleeves, empty and limp, swayed gently as if in a phantom breeze. The collar, turned up or down, offered no hint of a neck, no suggestion of a head. It was a void, a hollow space where a human form should have been, yet it moved with an undeniable presence. Imagine the cognitive dissonance. Your brain screams, "Impossible! Objects don't move like that on their own." Yet your eyes, your very senses, are relaying an undeniable truth. For a child, the initial reaction might be confusion, a momentary lapse in understanding the rules of the physical world. Perhaps Keanu's young mind, still so malleable, so open to wonder, processed it as a peculiar, fascinating anomaly. He later described his initial thought as simply, "That's interesting," a testament to the innocent, unburdened perspective of a child, before the world teaches us to dismiss the inexplicable. But then, the crucial element, Renata, the nanny, the adult, the anchor to reality. Her reaction was not one of childlike wonder. Her face, etched with a sudden, profound terror, mirrored the dawning horror of the situation. Her eyes, wide and fixed on the floating garment, confirmed what Keanu's innocent mind might have struggled to grasp. This was not a game. This was not a trick. This was real. The shared glance, the unspoken communication between them, solidified the terrifying truth. The jacket continued its silent, spectral journey, perhaps traversing the small space of the doorway, before, as suddenly as it appeared, it simply vanished, dissolved into the air, leaving behind no trace, No lingering scent, no residual chill. Only the profound silence, now heavy with the weight of what had just transpired. What do you do after witnessing something so utterly beyond comprehension? How do you reconcile the laws of physics with the undeniable evidence of your own eyes? The human mind, in its infinite capacity for self-preservation, often tries to rationalize, to find a logical explanation for the illogical. But some events defy all attempts at rationalization, leaving us with a gaping hole in our understanding of the universe. And it's in that void, in that unsettling space of the unknown, that true fear begins to fester. It's not the fear of a monster under the bed, but the far more insidious fear that the very ground beneath your feet, the very reality you inhabit, is not as solid, as predictable as you once believed. It's the fear that there are forces at play, unseen and unfathomable, that can intrude upon your world at any moment, leaving you forever changed. And for Keanu, that moment was the genesis of a lifelong awareness, a quiet understanding that the world holds more mysteries than we can ever hope to unravel. It's a testament to the fact that even the most grounded individuals can be touched by the ethereal, leaving them with questions that linger long after the apparition has faded into the shadows. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other quiet, unassuming moments in your own life might hold the potential for such profound, unsettling revelations? What unseen eyes might be watching, just beyond the periphery of your vision, waiting for the perfect, unsuspecting moment to reveal themselves? The thought alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine, isn't it? The immediate aftermath of such an encounter is rarely depicted in films or stories with the nuance it deserves. We often see the dramatic climax, the jump scare, and then a swift resolution, leaving the audience to assume the characters simply move on. But what about the quiet terror that settles in? The questions that gnaw at your mind long after the apparition has faded. For young Keanu and Renata, that moment of shared, inexplicable horror undoubtedly left an indelible mark, a silent scar on their perception of reality. How do you explain to a child, or even to yourself, something that defies all known laws of physics, all logical understanding? The memory of that floating jacket, the silent, eerie movement, the sudden disappearance it would have replayed in their minds. A chilling loop of the impossible. Every doorway would have seemed a little more ominous, every shadow a little deeper. It's a stark reminder that sometimes the most profound and unsettling experiences are not those that scream for attention, but those that whisper, leaving you to wonder about the true nature of reality. And it makes you think, doesn't it? If someone as seemingly grounded and rational as Keanu Reeves can have such a vivid, undeniable encounter, what does that say about the countless other stories we dismiss as mere folklore or overactive imaginations? It begs the question, are we truly alone in our perception of the world? Or are there countless unseen entities moving just beyond our grasp, waiting for the opportune moment to reveal themselves? The psychological impact of a paranormal encounter, especially on a developing mind, can be multifaceted. For some, it can lead to a lifelong fascination with the unknown, a relentless pursuit of answers in the face of skepticism. For others, it can instill a deep-seated fear, a constant vigilance against the unseen, a sense of vulnerability in a world that suddenly feels less secure. And for a rare few like Keanu, it seems to foster a quiet acceptance, a recognition that there are indeed more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. It's a profound shift in worldview, a realization that the universe is far more complex and mysterious than our limited human understanding often allows. This isn't an isolated incident among those in the public eye. Many celebrities, often perceived as living lives of glamour and detachment from the mundane, have shared their own chilling tales of encounters with the unknown. From haunted homes to inexplicable phenomena on film sets, the world of the famous is not immune to the whispers of the supernatural. Take, for instance, the countless reports from actors and crew members on the sets of horror films, where strange occurrences often mirror the very narratives they are trying to bring to life. Is it the power of suggestion, the collective energy of a creative endeavor, or something far more sinister at play? The line between fiction and reality blurs, leaving us to ponder the true source of these unsettling phenomena. But what exactly are these phenomena? Are they echoes of the past, intelligent beings trying to communicate, or something else entirely? The answers, as always, remain elusive, drawing us deeper into the enduring mystery of the paranormal. And speaking of mysteries, have you ever wondered if your missing socks are actually being abducted by tiny, interdimensional beings, or if your car keys are simply playing a perpetual game of hide and seek? Just a thought to lighten the mood, or perhaps to add another layer of delightful paranoia to your night. But seriously, the human mind is wired to seek explanations, to categorize and understand. When faced with the truly unexplainable, it often resorts to either denial or, as in Keanu's case, a quiet acceptance of the bizarre. This acceptance, however, doesn't diminish the impact of the experience. It merely reframes it within a broader, more mysterious understanding of existence. The incident with the floating jacket wasn't just a fleeting moment of strangeness. It was a foundational experience that likely shaped Keanu's perspective on the world, perhaps even influencing his later roles and his philosophical approach to life. It's a testament to the fact that even the most grounded individuals can be touched by the ethereal, leaving them with questions that linger long after the apparition has faded into the shadows. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other quiet, unassuming moments in your own life might hold the potential for such profound, unsettling revelations? What unseen eyes might be watching, just beyond the periphery of your vision, waiting for the perfect, unsuspecting moment to reveal themselves? The thought alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine, isn't it? When we talk about apparitions like the one young Keanu and Renata witnessed, paranormal researchers and parapsychologists often categorize them into different types, each with its own set of characteristics and implications. Understanding these distinctions can help us frame Keanu's experience within a broader context of supernatural phenomena. One of the most commonly discussed categories is the residual haunting. Imagine an event, a powerful emotion, a traumatic experience, so intense that it leaves an energetic imprint on a location. This imprint then replays itself, like a ghostly recording, without any conscious intelligence behind it. It's like a broken record, repeating the same scene over and over again. The floating jacket, in this context, could be seen as a residual haunting, a replay of a past event, perhaps a moment of profound sadness or fear associated with the jacket's original owner. The fact that it moved on its own, without a visible entity, aligns with this theory. It's not a ghost actively trying to scare you. It's just an echo of what once was. Another category is the intelligent haunting. This is where a conscious entity, a spirit, interacts with the living. These entities can communicate, respond to questions, and even manipulate objects with intent. If the jacket had, for instance, responded to a question, or if a voice had accompanied its movement, it would lean more towards an intelligent haunting. The fact that Renata, the nanny, also witnessed the event is crucial here. Shared experiences lend significant credibility to paranormal claims, making it harder to dismiss them as mere hallucinations or tricks of the mind. It suggests that whatever was happening, it was external to Keanu's individual perception. The question then becomes, if it was a residual haunting, what was the original event that caused this imprint? And if it was an intelligent haunting, what was the entity's purpose in revealing itself? The answers, as always, remain elusive, adding to the chilling allure of the unknown. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other quiet, unassuming moments in your own life might hold the potential for such profound, unsettling revelations? What unseen eyes might be watching, just beyond the periphery of your vision, waiting for the perfect, unsuspecting moment to reveal themselves? The thought alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine, isn't it? Keanu Reeves, with his characteristic calm and thoughtful demeanor, has often spoken about his experiences with the paranormal in a way that is both grounded and accepting. He doesn't sensationalize, he doesn't claim to have all the answers, but he acknowledges the reality of what he witnessed. This quiet acceptance, this willingness to embrace the inexplicable, is perhaps what makes his account so compelling. It's not a desperate plea for attention, but a simple statement of fact from a man who has seen a glimpse of something beyond our current understanding. His experience, while unsettling, didn't leave him with a crippling fear of the unknown. Instead, It seems to have deepened his appreciation for the mysteries of existence, reinforcing his philosophical outlook on life. It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound truths are found not in what we can explain, but in what we cannot. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other quiet, unassuming moments in your own life might hold the potential for such profound, unsettling revelations? What unseen eyes might be watching, just beyond the periphery of your vision, waiting for the perfect, unsuspecting moment to reveal themselves? The thought alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine, isn't it? So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, remember Keanu's story. Remember the floating jacket, the shared terror, the quiet acceptance of the inexplicable. Remember that the world is far stranger, far more mysterious than we often allow ourselves to believe. And perhaps, just perhaps, the shadows in your room aren't just shadows, and the silence isn't truly empty. Because sometimes the most terrifying stories are the ones that are true. Sweet dreams. And remember, the veil is thinner than you think. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more chilling tales. Your support helps us bring you new horrors daily. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the veil. Good night.